What is up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan coming to you live from Boca Raton, Florida, and today we're going to address why nobody wants to help you and how you can ask for help and actually get help. So, this has been an inspiration. This video comes inspired by people reaching out for help, and a lot of the times, I find myself in this weird, frustrated state where it's like, I can't help you, and I don't want to say that I can't help you, but it's like you have put me in a really difficult position to help you, and I want to explain that. It's not that I'm self-centered or that, it's not a what's in it for me sort of conversation at all. As a matter of fact, what you'll find, and will kind of blow your mind, is that the people with the most knowledge are actually super willing and very assertive in sharing their knowledge. It's kind of like they've figured it out the hard way and they want to help other people do it. And I think people just don't understand how to ask for help, and they're just doing it wrong. And again, it's not a what's in it for me conversation. It's not about value add. It's about not understanding how to get help because you're making a fatal mistake. So the fatal mistake basically renders you unhelpable. And it's not that you're a bad person or that you aren't worth it or anything like that. It's basically that the way you're asking for help or the way that you're approaching the topic of seeking support is you're missing a critical step. And I think the problem is you don't have a problem. And it's like you don't have a solvable problem that someone with experience can actually assist you with. Because a lot of times the question is this: how do I get started? Okay, so we need to do a paradigm shift on how you look and view and think about the word help and getting help. Think of help as optimize, okay? Don't think of help as someone to assist you. Think of it as someone to optimize you. Now, knowing that, with that sort of mindset shift, you can pretty much see where the question, this mic is stabbing me, I'm trying to fix it. You can see how when you understand that help is optimization and not assistance, then you can understand that when you ask the question, how do I get started, how difficult it can be to help you, because you cannot optimize zero, okay? I want to tell you a story. When I was in sales on the phone, I was not having a great month at this new job I had started. I basically had maybe one conversion or something out of hundreds of phone calls and stuff like that. And the manager called me in the room and he was like, "Kyle, you're doing great." And I was like, "That's impossible. I'm the last person on our team. It's not going well for me. I don't know if this is right for me. I don't know if blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "No, dude, no." He's like, "Look, this is how many calls other people have made." And it's a couple hundred or something like that. And we had tools for strong robo-dialing powers and stuff like that. But he was like, "Yeah, they've made a couple hundred. Dude, you have made 4 digits. You're in the thousands. I can help you. If we can get you making 1,000 calls every day," he's like, "Dude, I can optimize that. I can fix that. We just get you on the phone with all these people and we'll start to..." He basically talked about optimizing my sales process, which is that's where he can actually help me, because I am actually doing something. There is some activity to be assisted with. Okay, so think about it like that. He can't help me if I'm not making phone calls. I can't help writers that don't write. I can't help businesses that have no product to sell or are not selling. Okay, so I'll give you another story. In a previous video, I said when I get stuck, I complain loudly. Okay, and I said that this has had a really weird impact on me, and this kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning of this video, that when you complain, there are actually really experienced, knowledgeable, talented people who are willing to help you. And it has blown my mind because, the people who say, "Help me get started," are bitter and angry that the people who are got all the knowledge are hoarding it or something like that. And they won't help me. They won't help me. They won't tell me what to do. No, dude, you've got to do something so I can tell you how to fix it. Okay, if you don't do anything, nobody can help you fix it. So what I mean, if you want to become like me, where if you get stuck, you complain loudly, here's a couple things, prerequisites. To get stuck, you must first have been moving, right? You gotta hit a wall, and now you're stuck. I can't advance any further. I have a problem to overcome. Remember at the beginning of the video, getting started is not a real problem. That means you're not doing anything. There is no problem to solve. You're just kind of chilling in your desk. That's not a real problem. So you cannot ask for help if you're not taking action. If you're taking action and spinning your wheels, then we can analyze that, okay? And this is an easy way to segue into a pitch. Copy Squad Inner Circle, kylerwriter.com/squad. We can fix spinning wheels. We can help you get some traction, but I'm not going to push a train from zero to start. I mean, not only will I not do it, I can't. Because it's one of those things I've struggled with like my whole life. Like trying to get friends and family around me motivated to get like entrepreneurial, to quit their job, to want more, to ask for like higher pay or try to do like a side hustle. Dude, I've struggled. Basically, I still let myself struggle with that. Like, you can't help people who aren't doing anything, but you can optimize people, okay? So, like I said, I complain loudly when I get stuck, but when I get stuck, guess what? I have actually a real problem of me spinning wheels. And when you're spinning wheels and you're putting in effort and you're at a point in your process or your development where you are stuck, people higher than you will recognize that and they will say, dude, I can help that guy. I've been through that. I can help him get over that because I remember how difficult and annoying and how much I struggled for that, right? So that's, if you're going to complain loudly, which again, that's what I said my strategy was when I get stuck. I did omit that I read a lot of books on the topic that I'm struggling with. Like for instance, when I wanted to kind of process my, turn the Copy Squad YouTube channel into like a process-oriented sort of business, I read this book called The E-Myth Revisited, and then I also read this other book called Clockwork. I think it's like Make Your Business Run Like Clockwork or Machinery or something like that. But I mean, I read a lot of books on the topic, and then I also complain loudly to experts and people above me who could maybe help me out and want some help. But people will say, and I've had like these weird realizations where someone will say, well, how'd you get them to help you? No one will help me. And it's like, but what's your question? You know, how do I get started in real estate? Well, what kind of question is that? Like, are you trying to buy a condo, a townhouse, a single family home? In what area? Are you going to buy it for yourself? Is it an investment property? Are you going to want to put kids and families and dogs in there? Are you going to want to put a bachelor, a college kid, or a doctor? Like, what? I can't help you get started in real estate. Does that make sense? Like, you can't help, you can't, again, this all comes back to this idea. Move away from this idea of help and turn the word help in your brain to optimize. People can help you if what they're doing is optimized, but you can't really do anything. So if you want a mentor, if you want someone to guide you, if you want someone to assist you, well, they will do it if you're actually moving, if you're making efforts, if you have a high volume of activity, they can optimize it because they've been there and they've done that, okay? So how do you ask for help? Okay, let me talk about this too. Vague and specific exist at opposite ends of the value spectrum. Okay, so I wrote this little note down because this is really important. A question that drives me nuts, or the kinds of questions that drive me nuts, are the vague questions. Like, it'll make me pull the remainder of my hair out when someone will send me an email with a link and then the question, thoughts? What thoughts? What am I supposed to do with that? Like, what is that? That's a terrible question to ask somebody. Again, think of the value spectrum, okay? And vague on one end, specific on the other end. If I asked you to pay for a $3,000 course and I basically explained what to do and then never told you how to do it, I don't know which side is value or which one's vague or specific anymore. But if I told you what to do and I never told you how to do it, it's not very valuable, is it? Right? So whenever you ask a vague question, I want you to anticipate a very vague response, right? So stuff like, how do I write copy for a physical product? How do I write copy for drop shipping? What physical product? For what market? For what price point? For how would the traffic come in? Would it be cold traffic? Would it be warm traffic? Is it merchandise for your current business? Are you selling to customers who have already bought before? Like, what physical product am I going to dream up out of space and just all of a sudden start writing copy for? That's not how it works. As a matter of fact, I don't really do, like, that's what I kind of harp on with the research. I made a 5-video series on the research process that spans 2.5 hours of me just explaining the research process. And I tell you what to do. It's the order bump on kylerwriter.com/book if you're interested in it. But I basically take 2.5 hours just to explain that process to you. And the point of that process is I don't make this stuff up. I don't come up with this stuff. You give me the information, or the client, or if I work for Agora Financial, so tell me what the newsletter is about, what kind of investment products it will be selling, and then I take that and I go figure out, I research the product itself, I research the market, and I research the personality or guru behind it. Those are the 3 core ingredients that you need. So this idea that you're just going to buy a physical, like write copy for a physical product, if it was just that simple, then you could dominate every niche that has a physical product. From selling Yeti mugs to ibuprofen, you'd be the master copywriter. But that's not how it works. Every market's different. Every individual buyer and funnel is going to be different, how they get to you. For instance, if I have a supplement company, am I the face of the supplement company? Do I have a personality or something that I stand for, some sort of mission or brand to be congruent with? Like, again, you can't, this in the spirit of like why nobody will help you, or how to ask for help, okay, is the farther vague you go, the less valuable your questions are to someone who could help you, right? The more vague you are, you have to provide, like, the vaguer you are with your inquiries and questions, the vaguer your response will be, all the way, and the vague response can go all the way to crickets. Absolutely not even answering you, because what a waste of time your question is, okay? And I don't mean that to be mean. I'm trying to help you see why, when you might be doing some sort of outreach or cold prospecting or whatever, that the vaguer you are in your communications, the less valuable that communication becomes, and the less valuable makes it so that it becomes less pertinent on the other party to respond. And I think this is really important, because this is a trend that it clicked with me very recently, where I was like, dude, this is, you're sabotaging yourself in a way that you could be getting great education, and I've been through it myself as well. So the reason people, let's kind of sum up and recap, the reason why no one will help you is there could be one of a couple symptoms, okay? One, you aren't doing anything, getting started, okay? So let's say this. 1, you need a real problem, okay? So that'd probably be number 2. So 1, and let's say you're not doing anything. Let's say number 2 is you need a real problem. Like, once you get going, you have to actually have a hurdle to overcome, because it isn't about, don't think of help as an assistance, think of help as an optimize. I can optimize your activity and get you through that hurdle, but I cannot create action on your behalf. That's the struggle, right? Okay, then the other thing, think about vague, I don't know how many numbers, I think we're going to do 3. So the third thing would be the vagueness to specificity, okay? Those are on opposite ends of a value spectrum, okay? If you bought an info product, if it didn't tell you how to do the thing that you bought, like how to get the result that you want, then it's not a very valuable info product, right? If I write a bullet, right? Like, okay, here, I'll give you a more example. How to get strong, right? How to get strong in 2 weeks. 3 steps to getting strong in 2 weeks. A proven science-backed system to get strong in 2 weeks. A proven science-backed system to get 300% stronger in 2 weeks. A proven science-backed system by Dr. So-and-so to increase your bench press by 200% in 2 weeks. Do you see, as I add more specificity, this becomes more valuable, becomes more exciting, becomes more relatable and useful. How to get strong doesn't help anybody. How to save time doesn't help anybody, okay? This is why I say, like, the principles of copywriting are universal. When you're thinking about the other person, you can call it empathy, or you can just call it intelligence, you can call it whatever you want. But when you start thinking about the other person, and you understand that the specificity makes the world go around, right? And it's very important that the more things that you can include specific-wise, and of course the new easy, safe, and big for selling emotions, the more apt you are to arouse a response, whatever it may be, okay? So that was something I wanted to share with you today. If you want help optimizing your copy, this is the place to go. Copy Squad Inner Circle at kylethewriter.com/squad. I don't see any questions coming through. I hope you enjoyed this. It was a bit of a rant, but it came from a place of love. I just want you to have your best, I want you to live your best life, right? I want you to be able to get all those things that you want. 'Cause I really do want to help you succeed, and I feel like I can't help you if you can't help me with questions that are more specific and actionable, where I can be like, okay, I can help you do this. And I feel like other mentors out there in the world that you might have turned to might have felt similar frustrations and didn't quite know how to articulate what I'm telling you right now when they get frustrated and they just sometimes blow off people because they're like, hey, if you want to get started, like buy my product is all they say or something like that, you know? So that's all I got for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Check out the Copy Squad Inner Circle if you want help optimizing your marketing or your copywriting. And until next time, peace out, Copy Squad.